Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
This episode is brought to you by Starbucks.
That is fire.
Whoa, that's good.
This might be the drink of the summer.
Okay, I like this one too. I'm rocking with it. Okay.
Try it for yourself. Starbucks Refreshers Concentrates are coming home. Find them in the coffee aisle and make it yours.
All right, welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass Podcast, Kevin and Chuck. Today, we're going to talk about distillation and making your own alcohol. You're thinking, well, you know, as a prepper, why would that be important to me? Why would I care? Well, it turns out that I like alcohol. So, there you go. That's one thing. You might use it as fuel. Now, the best reason that I've come up with is alcohol is perfect to strengthen kinship and build community bonds. And who can argue with that?
That's right. That's important.
That's solid, right?
Mm-hmm. I think the perfect recipe for a long-lasting friendship is an argument, a fist fight, and then having shots together.
That only sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of our listeners, actually, Shane most recently, but I think a few of you guys have actually requested that we get hot on the trail of the homebrew. And me and Kevin have kind of put this episode off again, not something we had a lot of experience in.
Mm-hmm.
And due to current laws, we will tell you that we still don't have any experience in.
Correct.
But this is something that we've been, looking into and curious about the process. And we're going to share some of that great knowledge that we uncovered.
That's right. That's right. Now, alcohol over 60% can be used to sterilize things. And alcohol over 40% can be used to disinfect things.
And it's also good for setting crap on fire.
That's right. Molotov cocktails weren't always made out of gasoline.
No.
That's right. So, now, before we get too much into uses for... Well, you want to talk about that first? Other uses for alcohol?
Other uses, yeah, as a prepper. Why, yeah. Anything you got on that?
Now, alcohol can be used for just about anything, depending on the purity of the alcohol you used. I always advocate, buying and keeping rubbing alcohol.
Okay.
It lasts forever. If you buy a bottle of whiskey and you open it up, take a couple of swigs off it, put the top back on and set it down, it'll be good forever. You don't have to worry about opening it and then closing it. It's not like wine. It's not like beer to last. Beer's not going to last very long.
Beer's not going to last
especially if
very
the
long.
refrigerator's not running. Alcohol, though, can come in useful in a lot of things.
Well, we can
just
talk
washing
about
your
root
hands,
cellars.
washing the cleaning the kitchen. And it's also something that's great for trading. Especially if you can make your own. There's not a whole lot of people out there that are going to be equipped to make it.
Yes.
I know a lot of you guys. Now, what I'm going to say here is if you're learning about making moonshine, don't learn it from somebody that sounds like me. If you go down south and you can barely understand what that guy's saying, he's the one you want to learn it from. Those are the guys that know.
Franklin County?
That's right, buddy. That's right.
All right.
Uncle Jesse knows the way. All right, so let's talk a little bit about
America's history.
All right.
With alcohol. Let's talk about that. Because here's the thing. It turns out that the first, distilled alcohol. Now, there's mead and there's beer, but we're talking about spirits, if you will, like alcohol. So, as far as we know, the first distill and distillation process came around in about the 12th century in Italy. And you know that taxes came soon behind because needful things and the government loves to tax.
Got to get a piece of
Now,
that.
you may remember somewhere back in America's history, we had a thing about throwing tea in the harbor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's because
What was the reason for that?
they wanted to tax like 3% or some shit on bags of tea.
Bullshit.
And we said, fuck the British.
Uh-huh.
That isn't going to fly.
We're going to have
We're
a
not
whole
gonna do that.
revolution over that.
So then we're like, we're going to have a country where the government can freaking stick it. And now some of you might be saying, well, it was taxation without representation.
Right.
It wasn't just taxation. But some of us had a few beers, hit the bar, and we're like, taxes? What the? Get out of here. So it played out something like this. Around 1791, turns out we were just recovering from this Revolutionary War thing.
Yeah.
George Washington had this big army, and he's like, these guys wanted to get paid. Now, he wasn't still running the army in 1791. But
No, he's commander-in-chief.
He was looking out. He was looking out for his boys.
Right.
He's like, they want to get paid. What we should do is we should tax whiskey.
Mm-hmm. All
Because everyone drinks whiskey.
Yeah, all spirits, but we primarily were
Right.
making whiskey.
Right.
There
Exactly.
weren't a whole lot of
'Cause
vodka.
This is America.
That's right.
We're not commie pankos who, all right. So they were like, let's tax the shit out of that. That'd be great. We pay for the war because everyone's drinking whiskey and they're not going to stop.
Mm-hmm.
They put that freaking nickel tax on freaking water in New York. They charged me a nickel for my plastic bottle. And I said, fuck, I'm going to stop drinking water.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to stop drinking whiskey.
That's right.
I mean, come on. You got to have priorities, right?
Yeah, I gave up water for Lent.
Water. You're like, no, I can't do it anymore. You're going to tax it. So that's out. So anyway, Americans being Americans, turns out we had a little thing.
That's right. We threw a revolution.
A revolution.
Gotta have one every couple of years. We haven't had one in a while. I'm looking
They
forward
were
to the
like,
next one, but
It's been 1776. Now it's 1791. Actually, I think
Too
they
long.
got around to it around 1793.
mhm.
But they were like, fuck it. Let's have the whiskey rebellion. And basically they rose up and got pissed off, and pretty much that's about it. It really didn't amount to much.
Yeah, they sent out a big militia, and they arrested 20 guys, and then all the guys got pardoned, and
And
Yeah, it was not
they
really
were
a
like,
big thing.
yeah, we like whiskey too. It's all good.
went on
Whatever.
for a while with the taxing. The problem with the taxing, a lot of the farmers had a lot of extra rye, and what they
Right.
would do with the extra rye was
And
they would
fruit.
make whiskey.
And if you can't get rid of your stuff, your
Mm-hmm.
extra corn, your extra fruit, your extra whiskey,
Right.
your extra rye, sorry,
Right.
you're going to make alcohol because that's another way to turn it into profit.
Right.
Now, so time goes on in America. We're like, all right, we're good. We can all get along. Let's have beer. It'll all work out.
Let's all drink some whiskey together.
Then we had this angry Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Civil War, prior to the Civil War, whiskey or all spirits, so liquor, not beer, were taxed at 20 cents on the gallon.
Okay.
20 cents, work with me, for a gallon, right?
Mhm.
Fight the Civil War, they're like, fuck, now we got to pay for this thing. Another war, we got to pay for it. What can we tax? And they were like, let's tax all the alcohol again.
Mm-hmm.
So it
These
goes...
sons of bitches.
It's freaking Abraham Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
It goes from 20 cents a gallon to $2 a gallon.
What the hell?
Again, everyone's like, fuck.
Abe, you son of a gun.
This guy gets all the credit.
Uh-huh.
They're like, oh, he's great. I didn't know anything about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they never talk about this
Nope.
when they're praising Abraham
Nope,
Lincoln.
it never comes up. $2 tax. So that got people thinking, we really need to be making our own. And it kind of pushed more and more. And when the government keeps creeping in, I was learning a lot about prohibition and all that. And I got to say, they said they confiscated, it was something like 693,000 stills during Prohibition.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane. But the thing is, everybody was drunk. They said it was worse during Prohibition.
Well,
than it
here's
was.
the big takeout from Prohibition. What used to happen was that men would get off of work, they'd go get drunk with their paycheck, go home and smack up their wife. Standard fare. But during Prohibition, men would take their women out on dates to stills.
See, that's
So
nice.
so what it really did was brought the family together.
We were just talking.
Now men and women could
Kin
get drunk.
and families coming together.
That's right.
It's beautiful. Well, speaking of women coming together with alcohol, they had something called the Raines Laws
All right.
in New York City. And this is pretty slick. Here, you're going to like this one. So, this is actually prior to Prohibition. And they were testing things out. They said, you know what? We're going to outlaw alcohol sales on Sundays. However, we're going to allow it in hotels. Because hotels, they're doing business. You don't want to, hurt tourism, whatever. So all the bars were like, you know what we should do? We have a room upstairs. We should make it a hotel here and rent out the room. And then we can have alcohol. We're good to go.
Good thinking.
Genius, right? The American ingenuitive spirit, whatever.
Right.
So they rent out the room, and then they're like, well, we're not really a hotel. What are we going to use that room for? They were like, you know what? Prostitution would be perfect.
Perfect.
And it turns out they may have actually created a little problem where kind of prostitution was running rampant in all the bars. And that's one of the ways that it really came out, and really spread in the Northeast there. So, I mean, I'm sure prostitution's, the oldest profession. I'm not saying it started because of this.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the prostitution in the bar and that kind of thing,
That's right.
So I'm sure that you guys are like, yeah, but Chuck, you're talking a lot. I hear your lips moving, but I still don't know how to make alcohol.
Right.
Kevin, you're going to help us out on that?
That's right. Now, before we get started, I want to talk a little
some
bit
laws?
about the legality of it.
All right, there are some
All right.
some problems with. Now you can make beer
Right.
in America.
No permit needed.
No permit.
Well, no federal permit needed.
No, and for personal consumption. And don't be trying to give it to your friends.
Yeah, don't share it.
Don't
you
share
just
it.
invite them over.
Don't put it in your car
and then drink it in
drive
front of
over.
them and tell them what it tastes like.
That sounds right.
Right. All right. So it is legal to own your own still, no matter the size.
Okay.
But what you're supposed to do with that still is use it, one, as decoration.
They are nice decoration.
Right. Two, you can use it to distill water. Three, you can distill essential oils with your still. I don't know what essential oils are. I don't feel like they're very essential because I've never needed any.
All right.
But what you can't do is distill alcohol in your still. Unless you get a distilled spirits permit or a federal fuel alcohol permit.
All right, tell me about those.
Now, the distilled spirits permit is basically to produce and distribute alcohol. That would be like Jim Beam, Jack Daniels.
Now,
they have to get these
in
permits.
my research, they said Jim Beam is the Pepsi of whiskey.
Oh, is it really?
And they said that if you're serious about whiskey, you're drinking Wild Turkey.
I never really liked Jim Beam or Wild Turkey.
I definitely never liked Wild Turkey.
And I'll be honest,
I'm not
this
a
might
big
sound a
fan of-
little unpatriotic. I'm not a big fan of bourbons. I'm more of a fan of Irish whiskey. It gets down to it.
John
If I had my
Powers
choice,
is pretty special.
All right. Well, I'll give that a try. But you're looking at like $50,000 and jumping through a lot of hoops to get its distilled spirits permit. But the federal fuel alcohol permit, you can get that for free, and they don't deny anybody that. Now, you can make alcohol and power your lawnmower with this permit, and everything's kosher. Nobody's going to give you a hard time. Now, if some spills out of your lawnmower into your mouth, I don't think that's really a big deal. So
It sounds like a big deal.
it
Now, you realize when you say not a big deal, you realize there's an agency called Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms.
which to me it seems like they have to have the greatest parties.
Now,
I mean, that sounds like a fantastic Friday.
now
But
you're thinking the ATF just goes around measuring barrel lengths.
Mhm.
That's my understanding. They seemed really worried about the bump stocks for a little while there. They still haven't caught on that binary triggers are way cooler than bump stocks. But I think they're going around opening up garage doors at random, just like, oh, I thought I smelled something fermenting in there.
Uh-huh.
And then they realized there
And
were
then
just
they
some rotten apples
realized
and
you've got a federal fuel alcohol permit, and so it's completely legal.
completely legal. All right, so we got the laws covered.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they actually, Kevin's like, whatever, what are they going to do? But they do take it pretty seriously. It is a serious crime. So all this information that we're going to provide to you is for entertainment or for the apocalypse. Or if you're just really thirsty and need some alcohol and you don't care about the laws,
Right.
then this would be appropriate for you. So
Right. I'm not going to say fuck the government, but you know what I'm saying.
there's a wink and a nod involved. Is that
All
what
right.
you're...
So I'm going to get your notebooks, your pens out right now. I'm going to give you step by step.
Now, really, I can sum it up in 3 words.
Uh-huh.
Ferment, distill, and age.
Mm-hmm.
Handled it. You know how to make alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Kevin's going to go a little bit deeper.
Now this
He
is
likes to use
I'm going to give you
fancy
I'm going to
words.
give you very specifics stuff here. This is not going to make the best moonshine. If you make moonshine and you listen to this recipe, don't follow it because I'm only going to make your job worse. Only going to make your product worse.
Now, I
What?
actually can give you a book recommendation.
All right.
And this guy might actually help you out with fermenting and making alcohol with recipes. The Home Distiller's Workbook by Jeff King has great recipes for moonshine, if that's something you were interested in. But we're going to cover the basics and get you going. So, Kevin?
All right. Now, what you're going to need is about 15 feet of copper tubing, a pressure cooker, and 2 clean pots. You're going to need a drill bit, a metal drill bit, the same width as the copper tubing. All right? So, first, bring 10 gallons of water to a boil in one of your clean pots.
Now, you're thinking fresh mountain water, whatever. This is part of why the boiling is happening right now. Is you actually, the bacteria we talked about in previous episodes.
Important. I would start with distilled water. You can use tap water, but I'd start with distilled water. Boil 10 gallons, add 10 pounds of cornmeal. Cook it until it becomes a paste. You're going to boil it down, make sure the cornmeal all mixes in, and allow it to cool. Pour it into a clean bucket and stir in 10 pounds of sugar. Add half ounce of yeast and mix it thoroughly. Now you're gonna ferment the mash. This is mash now. Loosely cover it with a cheesecloth and store it in a cool, dark place. A brown foam will appear on the top of the mash bucket and begin rising. The mash is ready when it stops rising. So it'll take, 4 to 10 days, somewhere in there.
It really depends how much sugar and how active the yeast is that you have. With that, make sure before you add the yeast that it cools down.
Right.
You have to bring it down.
You're going
to
to kill
about,
the yeast if you don't.
Right.
If you don't do that. All right. Strain the mash through a cheesecloth into your second
Now,
clean
you can
pot.
use your wife's sheets, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, you can use a screen.
just
You
wanna
can use a
get
T-shirt.
the
You can
thick
use
chunkies
cheesecloth.
out
yeah.
of there.
Exactly. You can use anything to strain it through. It doesn't have to be cheesecloth. It can be a screen that you yanked off of your window as long as it's clean. All right, so you're going to screen it into your pot there. And then you're going to take your pressure cooker. You're going to drill a 1/4-inch hole in it. If you have 1/4-inch copper tubing, whatever size copper tubing you got, you want it to be the exact same width.
I would have used 1/2 inch.
Well, you go ahead. You go right ahead. Just get a 1/2 inch drill bit.
All right.
Drill a hole in the top of your pressure cooker. All right. So we're ready to go here. Let's see. You put your mash into the pressure cooker with a hole drilled in the top. Copper tubing goes in the hole. Copper tubing then runs from your pressure cooker into your sink that's full of cool water, or just something with cold water, and spiral it around so it has more contact time. Then from the sink down to your second pot. Now you're going to heat your pressure cooker up to 80 degrees Celsius. What are we, some sort of socialist here? 177 degrees Fahrenheit. Alcohol becomes ethanol steam as it heats up, travels through your condenser and into your bucket. But anything that comes out of that tube before your pressure cooker reaches 177 degrees is methanol, which will make you go blind. So don't drink it.
So,
and then you're going to want to keep it running until you get about 2 ounces out to clear that all out.
I got a couple of words for you. Well, so basically as you bring the temperature up, now you want to bring it up slowly when you're heating this up. Now, once you hit 173 degrees, actually, is when alcohol starts to evaporate. 173 degrees, the first things that are going to evaporate, they call it work with me, the foreshot. Now, usually they say it's the first 1/4% of all that you're going to get out of there is the foreshot. That's the methanol you're talking about. Now, it is poison. This is the part they're talking about that'll make you go blind. It's not good. Usually you can do the math and figure out, I would say, they say the first 0.5%. I would say even go as far as the first percent. This is going to smell horrible. Yeah, that's how you're going to know it's the bad stuff. Next, you're going to get, so first you get the foreshot, then you get the head, and then you get the good stuff, then you get the tails. So the head, basically, you're going to kind of fill your first container with, you first toss the foreshot, that little bit. You're going to know by the smell that this is wrong and not anything you want. You're going to toss that. The next container is going to be kind of the heads, and you kind of set that aside. Then once you see it coming clear and it smells clear, then that's going to be the good stuff. Then as you start to approach 198 degrees, that's when you start getting into the tails, which is where it starts to go bad again, starting to mix into the water and that kind of stuff. Again, you should be taking separate containers each time. But sorry to interrupt.
All right,
go on. I know I broke the flow here.
All right, so you've got you've got your alcohol dripping in here in the pot over time as it heats. You're going to try and maintain a somewhat constant temperature as best as you can. As it condenses, it's going to drip into your new pot. Now, you want to get rid of the heads and the tails, right? You want to get rid of the beginning part and the last little bit. But if you followed all these directions properly, you should be the proud owner of 2 gallons of distilled moonshine.
Excellent.
Now, this moonshine is going to be super strong, like 90% alcohol. So you're going to want to cut that with 50% distilled water.
Okay.
just so that you don't kill yourself.
You're still drinking this, so you want to use quality water.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, you put all this effort in. Now, also that heads and tails, you actually can mix that into the mash of your next batch.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll keep kind of a continuity of flavor and different things going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you really, what we're telling you is not enough to, maybe make quality liquor.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree with what Kevin just told you. You probably could make liquor,
mm-hmm.
but, if you want to get into it, you're going to have to do some research.
Right. And the real difference between moonshine and whiskey is aging.
And that's a nice thing too. Alcohol, the flavor, like honestly, the higher the alcohol content, the less flavor you're going to have in it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they'll store it. Again, this is something where the extra books and the research and trial and error. But you know how they talk about aging it in like charred barrels,
right?
Or, oak barrels. But a lot of times they'll say charred.
Mm-hmm.
People will take like white oak. And if you bake it in the oven, you can actually kind of char it on your own. You'll wrap it in foil, bake it for a while. The hotter you bake it will give it a sweeter, more vanilla-like flavor. Whereas if you kind of have it closer to wood, it's going to be a drier flavor.
Mm-hmm.
But you could throw that in and let it age a little bit.
Right. Now, keep in mind, as soon as you take it out of the oak and put it in a glass bottle, the aging stops. If you have 2-year-old whiskey in a bottle on your shelf
and throw the wood in it,
you could do that.
It will
right.
still age.
Mm-hmm.
But
if you have 2-year-old whiskey on your shelf for 3 years, it's not now 5-year aged whiskey. No. It stops aging.
I don't like that anymore.
So,
because I was saving.
Yeah, no, it's not. It doesn't change once it's in the bottle.
That's it.
That's it. Whether you open it, drink from it, you can do whatever you want with it. It's not going to go bad. It's not going to age. It's not going to do anything. So that's why alcohol is a perfect thing for a prepper to store, just because it's set and forget.
And it is the barter dream item.
Yeah, I have a hard time with the forget part, though.
You don't forget, huh?
No, I'm
all right.
I'm always looking into that bottle.
That's all right. It's all right. Now, for those of us that still have refrigeration and electricity, I would say it's easier to go down to the liquor store. However, let me tell you a cool trick. There's something called freeze distillation.
All right.
Now, freeze distillation, if you took mash,
mm-hmm.
like you were just talking about, you let it ferment, right? You put it in a container, put it in your freezer. Turns out alcohol doesn't freeze at the same temperature that water and the rest of it does.
Mm-hmm.
If you then drop it into a strainer once it's frozen, all the alcohol will drip out.
Nice.
You didn't have to do any of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even see the freaking ATF kicking down your door for that. I'm just saying this can be tried with just take a beer. Throw it in the freezer. Try it out. See what happens.
I did have a problem with that when I was in the Navy with frozen beers in my little dorm room
Were you
freezer.
Sucking?
Yeah, I didn't do a good job. I put it in there thinking these bottles will be fine, and they were not fine.
Now, some advice.
Need some expansion room.
All right. Some advice I have for you guys who might want to try stuff like this. Ventilation is your friend. Turns out alcohol vapor and alcohol are both flammable. You need to be aware of this. You need to take precautions. Mm-hmm. Things do catch on fire. Things do explode. Usually people are heating stills with fire.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have it on a burner plate. Guess what? Burner plates can start fires.
That's right.
Ventilation.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you have to be crazy.
Yeah. Go back to the show where we were talking about getting a fire extinguisher. Yeah.
There's a reason these guys go out in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, think about that.
Not as dangerous as cooking meth.
No.
But dangerous nonetheless.
All
Now,
right.
should we do a show on how to cook meth?
No, I'd rather not.
No, you don't think that's a good idea?
No.
I mean, the ATF isn't going to come after us for that.
No, I think we're good.
That's out of their wheelhouse. We're safe from those guys.
All right. Now, there's also mead.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about mead.
I don't have a lot to add on mead. I have made my own beer. Let me tell you about beer first, and then we'll get into mead.
All right.
So I made my own beer, and the deal is, just like with making mash, you need to clean everything good.
Mm-hmm.
You want to use like a light bleach, so what I mean by a light bleach, maybe for a gallon of water, you're putting like a cap full of bleach.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to clean everything, and that's going to kill any of the yeast. You need all the bottles that you're going to store it in. You got to clean it. You got to clean it with the bleach. All the thermometers, the probes, the different things, they all need to be cleaned so that you don't get yeast.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you'll pick up yeast from the air and from everything around you, and you will have bad, weird, horrible flavors that will find their way into your alcohol and into your beer, into your spirits, whatever you're making.
Mm-hmm.
So be aware of that, and it makes for a bit of work.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm not beer maker all the time. It's like special occasion, because it's like, all right, how much work do I want to go through to get, 48 bottles of beer,
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I could just go spend like $30 or something.
Right.
And
that's a big part of this sort of stuff. Unless you're making a lot or just trying to learn how to do it so you can do it in the future.
It is a skill.
It's not really worthwhile. It is something that you can learn a lot from by doing it yourself. Now, I have a friend named Nate who makes his own beer, and I hear it's really good, but I've never tasted it. And I know Nate's listening, so let's make this happen.
I've made beer. You've had my beer.
Yeah, and it's fantastic.
It was good. Last thing, it's like, I think I made 5 batches of beer, and I would say 2 were amazing. 2 were as good or slightly better than like Sam Adams.
Mm-hmm.
And then 1 was like maybe better than Miller Lite.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, and I think it was like my 4th that it was maybe better than Miller Lite.
Well, you tried to get fancy with that one. I remember
and I'm
that
like,
one.
I just don't even know if I'm going to make beer anymore.
Yeah.
Because it just, So, anyway. So, it's something to dabble into. Quality yeast, keeping your stuff clean, adding the appropriate amount of sugar to carbonate it.
Right.
Different stuff like that, all things to learn. And it's a trial and error thing, and it's kind of cool, but it's a hobby and a commitment.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
don't do it like, I'll be able to get cheaper beer. That's not a better way to go.
That's not the way to go.
It's like, I really want quality beer that I can be proud of and share with my friends. Then it's a good idea and it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
So, quick thing. Yes.
Well, let's talk real quick about juice hooch.
Okay.
Making wine out of juicy juice or whatever. Now, I don't have any information to back this up, but I know I've read it at some point. During Prohibition, some of the juice companies would sell the juice with a little disclaimer on the bottom that said, basically, whatever you do not
put this in a bottle for 21 days.
Add yeast
at 70
and cover it with
degrees.
cheesecloth and put it in your cabinet for 2 weeks because you might end up getting drunk when you drink it.
Yes.
It's really
they used to
easy
sell,
to make.
Raisin cakes.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing. And they would send attractive girls to go and explain how dangerous it could be if you left it unattended for, and how it could become alcohol, and you need to be careful and make sure it doesn't ferment. And so, definitely.
So if you get a 64-ounce bottle of juicy juice or apple juice, it has to have 20 grams of sugar per serving, basically, is the rule of thumb with this. which is, you want to get something real sugary. Mix the yeast with the juice. Add an airlock to it, basically to let air escape, but not let air in. You could also just use a balloon and let the balloon fill up and just let the balloon air out every once in a while. Allow it to ferment for 5 days, cap it, put it in the refrigerator. Ready to go. You got your own crappy wine. So, I mean, that's definitely something to keep in mind. If you're just looking to get drunk and you're not 21 yet, you can't buy your own alcohol, you can make it yourself. Easy to do.
Secret of the pros right there.
All right. Now,
mead is the drink of Vikings.
Right.
I don't
Why
know why
would
you
you
wouldn't
not?
want to be like a Viking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So mead is basically like, think half honey, half water. That's pretty much mead. Add yeast, you're good to go. Turns out honey on its own is not going to ferment. But if you dilute it about 50%, you're good to go. Now, what they typically would do is they would take fruit. A lot of the recipes I found online, they talk about just buying like a small package of organic raisins and putting it in with the honey and the water. And there's enough yeast in that it would do it. It would ferment on its own. And you can just let it do its thing. So organic raisins, honey. They would say like 2 pounds of honey to a gallon of water.
Okay.
And like I said, throw in some raisins. But you can use anything. You could use anything with skins that are yeasty. So these could be, grapes and raisins are the same, kind of idea. A lot of apples and different things like that. You're going to get the yeast. Now, they actually, back in the day, a lot of times would just take the honey and the water and just leave it open to the air. And whatever yeast kind of came along, sometimes you can use like any kind of edible flowers, stuff like that. They would put that in there and the yeast from that would happen. And what they would do is they would actually keep some of the old and put it in the new if they got a good yeast. So, and they would kind of keep it going from one to the next. So they're getting the yeast from the air, but then they would take it, from, now you can also just go to the grocery store and buy like bread yeast or go to the brewer store and buy, beer yeast or champagne yeast.
Yeah.
That'll
There's
all
all
work.
Sorts of different
that
yeast.
That will all work.
Yeah. It's
and
all yeast.
Ferment it. And, you're looking at, again, like 10 days. And again, it's got to be kept warm. Really, the temperature matters as far as, like, how fast and how well it's going to ferment. Like 60 degrees is your absolute bottom. And that's going to ferment slower than if it's 75 degrees. But you don't want to go really over 80 degrees. Then you start getting into danger there where you're going to kill the yeast. So, I don't know. That's one more option for you. Now, what? You got something?
Nope.
Well, Kevin
I got
looked like he was going to drop some stuff.
I got a little bit of bootlegger history that I found that I thought was important.
You have some bootlegger lore?
Yeah, I thought that, as I was doing the research, I kept finding some pretty great stories.
All right. What do you got?
Well, I just wanted to talk about first Robert Glenn Jr. Johnson. Now, he's a famous NASCAR driver, but he learned how to drive. And I think most of the listeners know that NASCAR comes from, the bootleg runners.
That is rumored, yes.
That would soup up their cars to outrun cops.
Yes.
But they didn't just soup up their cars. It took a skilled driver. And when he started driving at 12, he was a natural. And not only was he excellent at driving, but he actually invented something that now we kind of take for granted. And it was called the bootlegger U-turn. Now we call it a power slide, but that's not how it originated.
No, it used to be a bootlegger U-turn.
That's right. So you have a manual transmission car, right? Cops are chasing you, hot on your tail.
Hot on the tail.
Mm-hmm. Drop it. Now, this works best with manual transmission and rear powered tires, right? Rear wheel drive.
Okay.
So, drop it in a second. Go a little bit to the right, and then slam it to the left. It's going to spin you out, twist you around, and now you're at a stop facing the opposite direction and can accelerate at full speed, and the cops are going the opposite direction and see you whiz by them going the other way.
They all go, what?
Right.
Like that?
That's how you used to trick the cops. Now they are probably better at a power slide than you are, so wouldn't recommend it. But this was invented by bootleggers.
Now, I was also told that back in the day, and I maybe have mentioned this before, but people used to disconnect their brake lights. And that way you could slow down, and it makes it hard for those guys to judge what's going on.
They don't know when you're going to turn. Now, there's also George Remus, who apparently was a very accomplished bootlegger. I'd never even heard of his name. That's
how good he was.
He was a wealthy lawyer that would always he was making huge amounts of money defending murderers, but he started realizing that all of a sudden after Prohibition, all these criminals he was defending had a lot more money than he did. Now, he was not only a lawyer but also a pharmacist. So what he did was he opened up a business where he manufactured legally alcohol for medicinal purposes. And it just happened that his employees were stealing all the shipments of alcohol before it got to where it was supposed to go. So he ended up making lots of money doing this. Bought a huge ranch, Death Valley Ranch, and was manufacturing it in the attic, and with a dumbwaiter would bring it down, ship it out, distribute it. He got so rich that when he would throw parties, he would give away Pontiacs as party favors. Now that's boss. He was giving away diamond tie pins as party favors. He once, as a joke, pushed a kid into a pool and ruined his new suit, but he thought it was funny enough and worth doing, so he just paid him 10 times what it would cost to get a new suit. Problem solved.
Problem solved.
So, I mean, there's a lot of class right there, you know. Now, he went to jail eventually, and his cellmate was a federal agent trying to figure out where his money was, and he found out that his wife, all the businesses, all the money was in his wife's name. So the federal agent didn't report this. What he did was went and found the wife and convinced her to elope with him.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's an obvious choice.
Right. So she was filing for divorce from him. He got out of prison, had his driver on the way to the court to file the divorce, had his driver chase down his wife, ran the car off the road, and shot her to death.
Smart.
Because sometimes bros over hoes, you know, you don't let that girl take the money. He went to court for, obviously, murder, got found not guilty for temporary insanity, and the prosecutor said, oh, well, now you have to go to an insane asylum because you're insane. But he said, wait a minute, you had 3 psychologists come in here that said that I wasn't insane, so you can't charge me with that. And he ended up going scot-free.
Nice. That's classic.
Mm-hmm. And he lived to about 85 years old.
Now, I have some other, moving on. Now, one thing I would recommend is, I don't know if you guys remember, me and Kevin like to drink EDC coffee.
We do?
From edccoffee.org, or I think it's edccoffeeco.org.
Yeah, my travel mug currently still has an EDC sticker on it. It's been on there for about 1.5 years now.
Right. So that may be something if you guys are making alcohol. Don't forget the morning after.
That's right.
Don't fall for that hair of the dog shit.
It's a good idea, but it's not a good idea.
But it's not a good idea. Now,
Yeah, you can never get a hangover if you stay drunk.
Another thing I wanted to point out, you guys remember last week we were talking about prison?
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of the things I had in my notes was a lock and a sock, and I was going to talk about different prison weapons.
Right.
I don't think that came up.
No,
I
we
think
never
I might
did
have
talk about
overlooked
that.
it. Well, then I felt like I'm a bad guy because I'm looking at the paper today, and Whitey Bulger
Yes.
got killed in prison by a lock and a sock.
Was that? I was trying to figure out how
He
they
was
got
probably
him.
listening to our podcast,
Uh-huh.
and he was like, "Oh, I think I'm pretty good," and it's because I forgot. I had too many beers. I forgot to mention it. It was in my
Right.
notes,
And he wasn't watching
and I
out
could have
for it.
warned him. I could have been
Uh-huh.
like, "Hey, lock and a sock.
Yep.
Watch out for that one."
I feel like I remember my first wife telling me about beating a girl with a padlock and a sock. So,
Now, I mean, had he only seen, what is it?
if you had seen it coming.
What's the one with the sock, the soap and the sock?
Oh, that's
in,
right. Full Metal Jacket.
Full Metal Jacket. Yeah.
Blanket Party.
Boot camp. Nobody, you got to watch out for that kind of shit. So, all right, I let you down a little bit on that one.
Yeah, you got
and I
Whitey Bulger
apologize.
killed.
I mean, come on. But I do have a pro tip for
And
you.
wait a minute. If you're Whitey, you're 85 years old,
Yeah.
King Mobster.
You didn't see that coming?
Who is beating him to death? Let the man be. He's 85.
Snitches get stitches.
He always said he wasn't a snitch, but he did say that the FBI promised him immunity, so I don't know how that works out.
That's the thing. He
Come
was
on,
supposedly,
Whitey. Be honest here.
He was an informant who never gave out any valuable information,
According to him.
according to him. But who knows? Put that out there. Now, I was listening to Glenn Beck a couple weeks ago, and he had the pro tip that I felt I had to bring to you guys.
All right.
Turns out, during the medieval times, they would use earwax as chapstick. And I was like, if that's not a prepper tip.
Wow. That is... You really got to be desperate, though.
I'm just saying, when you're kissing the girl and she's got the soft lips in the apocalypse.
Mm-hmm. You know what?
You know
what's
what
going
she was
on.
doing.
Uh-huh.
Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting it out there. So, we did send out some cool packages to our winners.
Right.
From, guys who were looking out for us on Patreon. I think I got everybody's patches out to them. I think we're all caught up there. If not, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, Tim.
Tim, we're working on your package.
We've got your package
Extra care.
almost together.
Extra love in there.
Mm-hmm. Made with love.
We weren't really planning on a second one, and then last minute, Kevin made a command decision, said he was going to make magic happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it took us a minute to get it together.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, now we would be interested in coming and partaking if any of you guys make any natural spirits.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in hearing what your guys' opinions are. Go on our Facebook page.
Yeah,
I would love to see a couple of still setups. If any of you guys got them.
Stills are legal, just not operating stills.
Right.
And we're willing to come over to test. We don't want you to get in trouble to send it through the mail. So
Right. Now we live up north, but I'll travel the Appalachian. That's no problem.
you're down.
Uh-huh. That's where the real good moonshine is made.
So if you got some hooch you want to share,
Mm-hmm.
Kevin's in. He's up for a good travel road
let
trip.
me know. I'm into
right.
it. If you guys want to email us at preppingbadass@gmail.com, love to get emails from you guys. We get a lot of great ideas from you guys.
We do.
If you just want to send an email and say hi, that's fine too. Tell me what you're up to. What are you guys working on? Growing potatoes? Want to hear all about it.
You want to turn those potatoes into vodka? You want to hear my secret recipe?
Last
Email
week,
Kevin.
Last week, I had put some potato peels in the sink when I was peeling potatoes.
Came back and there was vodka in the
There was
sink?
no vodka.
Oh,
I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
it doesn't sound right.
But, you know, if you guys know how to do that, let me know. Tell me what I'm doing wrong with that. Yeah, and as far as that, I think that's all we got for tonight.
All right. Then stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
The Survival and Basic Badass Podcast is a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network.
Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With FishingBooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. FishingBooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to FishingBooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.